Hey, what is up, guys? So, as requested, some of you wanted to see the updated salad list since the new set has come out, and we have access to Promethean Princess. It hasn't really changed that much, I'm going to be perfectly honest here. It's more or less the similar salad list from what I played before. The only changes are the side deck and the extra deck, but this is more catered to my locals as well as the OTS that is coming up.
We're a gaming cafe. We offer a safe and free-to-use space for anyone to come and geek out. When I was younger growing up, there was nowhere you could go and be a geek. You were frowned upon being a geek. You hide the fact you were a geek. And now I think being a geek is something you should be proud of. And there should be a place where you can come and say, hey, I'm a geek. We've only been open 6 months, but
It'll be coming up this Sunday. Well, the Sunday from the video starting. Unfortunately, I won't be able to play. I'll be judging that event, so I believe one of my friends is actually going to be playing this on my behalf, just so that I get some testing theory with it for when I enter an audience. But enough with that. We're just going to get straight into the deck because there's not really much else to say. It performs as well as it performs, and it knows its matchups that it loses to. So we're going to start off with 3 Salamangreat with Fire. I have seen some lists play 1 or 2. I prefer playing 3 because we want to just bait out as much as possible. I'm not too bothered if this gets ashed because we have this, Gazelle, Signet Mining, and a bunch of other stuff. So this getting drolled kind of does suck, but as well we can play through quite a bit now with the access to the princess. It's not terrible anymore, but it's good enough. Then we play the 3 Gazelle. No real explanations there. It's Gazelle, it summons itself, and is your free extender. The only things that are probably a bit different from other people's builds is we play 2 Spinny, 2 Foxy, 1 Weasel, and 1 Jaguar. We don't play Falco anymore because Falco's kind of bad at this moment in time, because all it really was used for was to reset the spells and traps, except because we have access to Wolf, as well as making the Raging Phoenix without using the field spell, it isn't needed as much. We can kind of just vomit out the board regardless. We did try Spinny at 3, except we kind of break on Spinny. Unfortunately, normal summons and your opponent outing the normal summons sucks, so we'd rather just lower down on them. We're keeping this at 2 because it is one of those cards where the normal summon effect does come up, and the special from the grave does also come up. It just depends on the circumstance. Against the Fire King matchup, it's free removal from the field constantly, and these are just the standard one-offs. I did contemplate playing this at 2, just in case it gets outed, but it doesn't matter as much because we have access to everything, and the Weasel's just a free draw. That is it for the Salad Monsters. Now, because we play a Cyberse deck, we play an unholy amount of hand traps. So we play the 3 Ash, we play the 3 Droll, we play the 3 Nibiru, the 3 Effect Veiler, and that is the hand traps for the monsters. Yes, there is hand traps for the back row as well. But we just want to max out on all of these because the Salad engine is you draw 2 Salamangreats or a way into your standard plays, and you can just link climb for days. There isn't really many salads that you need to draw. It's kind of the running thing that we have at locals of your Salamangreat deck is good as long as you don't draw Salamangreats. These I do find are the most high performing hand traps. Yes, I could play Bell in the main, but I find Effect Veiler does come up a little bit more often, especially when I'm up against certain sorts of decks. It does do stuff. At my locals we do have Flu, so yes, this does work against Flu. This also works against the branded decks because they make Lubellion, ditch Lubellion, no you don't. Nib is just Nib, and these two, just either one of them can actually matter. So yeah, that is the hand trap part of it. We play the nice lovely spice of double Cash Terra Fenrir. The reason why we play this is because your opponent has to out it. If you go second and you summon this, your opponent has to deal with it straight away, because if not, you just start spot removaling stuff. And yes, you do get fire locked in this deck. However, you get fire locked later on in the combo. Till then, we will summon this free Earth monster and just beat you down with it. And that's it for the monsters. For the spells, we play the 1 field spell. We don't need to play more than this. It has come up once before, where I have rammed a monster into my opponent. Use this effect to gain life, knowing full well time is about to be called in about a minute. So, this can make you win in time. Very unlikely, but can do it still. Then we play double Will of the Salamangreat. will is just amazing. I did contemplate playing it 3 because free reborn is free reborn, but we can search into it, and if we don't draw it, it's fine. It's more there because the end board of all Salamangreats is a Nibiru and a Nibiru token, so yeah, this lets you play through that as if it didn't exist. We also play the triple circle, free searching. Its second effect does come up. It's why I used to play Falco back in the day, because we'd get the free search and then we'd use Falco to set this, and then during our opponent's turn, we turn our monsters into a pseudo towers. Pseudo, in very big quotation marks about that. Then we play the double signet mining. I did contemplate playing 3, but 2's fine. We have lots and lots of searching in the deck, so it doesn't really matter. Droll does exist in this format, so we've got to be careful when we use it. And then the one call by the grave, because it's called by. If you draw it, it's great. If you don't, you just play through as if it didn't exist. That is the spell lineup. For the traps, we play the triple infinite impermanence and the one rage and the one raw. We contemplated playing a second raw because it's the better out of the two that I've come to find, because this is good, but if you don't have anything that's reincarnation summoned, it's less good. It only gets rid of one thing, while this is just a free solemn judgment, so you want to draw this over this. The imperms are just imperms for reasons. But yeah, standard signet deck is standard signet deck. You play 15 hand traps and then you play whatever signet version you want to play. And then for the extra deck, we play the triple Balanx. We were contemplating playing All Mirage at one point, because protection from destruction, but this is good anyways, so it doesn't really matter. The only reason we contemplated it is because we had a lapse in judgment one game and it would have come up. And it only came up because I misplayed very badly. Then we play the double Sunlight Wolf. We don't need 3 anymore. Hell, you don't actually tend to use Sunlight Wolf for Sunlight Wolf unless you really want to extend. But you don't need to anymore because you have access to recurring stuff constantly, so it doesn't matter as much. Then we play the double Raging Phoenix. I contemplated bumping this up to 3 because Soul releases in format, DD Crow's in the format. Loads of ways to deal with this are just in the format, so it kind of does suck. But we do have different LTK enablers, so it doesn't really matter as much. Then we play the one Promethean Princess. This is like the major change to the extra deck. We took out the Heat Soul for it because I did think of playing the Heat Soul still, but I just couldn't find the space with what I play in this list, so it sucks, but oh well. The one heater because fire deck is fire deck. The one splash mage because this is just allows us to get into the Promethean Princess for free. Then we play our nice lovely OTK package in regards to the Fusion, the Proxy F Magician, and the Pit Knight. This is how you just kill your opponent. If you know that you can do it, just do it. Obviously, it does play into Nibiru, which is very, very bad, but not every deck plays it, and because not a lot of people actually know what this card does or that it even exists, for those of you that don't know about this card, this is the Salamangreat fusion monster that back in the day you played as the super poly target to beat Salamangreat. Now you play it to kill your opponent in Salamangreat because the Pit Knight makes your opponent's monsters attack 0, and then this becomes a 9k beat stick because when it battles something whose attack is different to its original, its attack doubles. So use the Proxy F Magician to fusion to make this to make the monster 0, this to kill your opponent. So yeah, that is the OTK enabler. We could have played Access Code, which takes less stuff to do, except the amount of times that I am just locked into fires before I can make the Access Code because my opponent's actually interacting with me. We play that combo because the great thing about that combo, they are all fires. So yeah. And then for the final cards, the XCs, we play the one Typhon and we play the one Mirage Stalio. I did contemplate playing this at 2 at one point, but that was before all the other good extenders came out. And the Typhon is just Typhon, it just outs stuff. If I'm going to make the Typhon, I wasn't going to be making a board anyways, and this is just so I don't die, and then we just play with a billion hand traps plus a Typhon, which is kind of enough to keep you alive because Solid has this ability to just never run out of its resources. Once we have access to them, it's just there forever. And then into the side deck, it has changed a little bit, but it's still catered to my locals. When I start going to bigger events, hopefully it will change a lot more. But for now, we play the 3 Ghost Bell. In my locals, there's 2 other Salad players. This actually does come up quite often, where I do side these in just so I don't lose to them. They play the access code route, so this is much more important because it stops the access code from coming out. As well as it just stops against other stuff. It's one of those things where you just take out one set of hand traps for another set of hand traps and you go in from there. Double Lancia. We play this more because we don't want to get blown out by Soul Release. Soul Release does hurt this deck, and yes, Evenly Matched does exist, except we have Rage and Roar, but it's better if we just have this because it just shuts down so many things and means that we can use the Rage and Roar for other decks. The 1 Harpy's Feather Duster because it is Harpy's Feather Duster, and the 2 Cosmic Cyclone because Cosmic just outs a bunch of stuff. I did contemplate taking this out to play more Cosmic Cyclones, but I feel that the Harpy still is required, regardless what kind of Cosmic can hit. Harpy's just, if your opponent doesn't have an out to it, they just don't have an out and they lose their board. Then we play the double Soul Release because it hurts a lot of fire deck. Then we play the double anti-spell. We don't play that many spells, so we don't really care. I did contemplate upping this to 3 instead of the antis. I did contemplate putting this up to 3 instead of playing the Harpy's Feather Duster, but it doesn't matter as much anymore. And then the triple evenly, because if we go second, we just win. The only thing